Behind every legend lies a reason. This is Myth and Motive.
Hello everyone. If you've ever watched the movie Wonder Woman, you must have been impressed by the beauty of actress Gal Gadot. Few people know that she is Israeli and also a beauty queen of this country. Even more surprising, Israel not only has Gal Gadot but also many other beauties currently serving in the military, making many people worry for the opposing side. Whenever Israel is mentioned, people imagine a distant, remote country. A small country but with year-round wars. However, this is also a place that holds many wonders. Not only does Israel have beautiful people and scenery, but it also has scientific and technological inventions that astonish them. Today's video will definitely help you clear up these long-standing misunderstandings about this small but monumental country. Israel is a republic in the Middle East region next to the Mediterranean Sea, bordering Lebanon to the north, Jordan to the east, Egypt and the Gaza Strip to the southwest. This is a small country with an area of 22,072 square kilometers, roughly equivalent to a province in Vietnam. If you want, it only takes 9 days to go from north to south of Israel, and from east to west. Israel is divided into 4 regions: the coastal plain, the Central Hills, the Jordan Valley, and the Negev Desert. The country has a typical Mediterranean climate with long, hot, and dry summers along with short, cold, and rainy winters. There are sandstorms in spring, occasional droughts, short-term floods, and periodic earthquakes. The capital of Israel is Jerusalem, known as the Holy Land, associated with a series of shocking events over thousands of years. Founded around the 4th millennium BC, the city of Jerusalem has been destroyed twice and has been besieged and attacked over 100 times. Jerusalem is the Holy Land of 3 religions: Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, with billions of believers worldwide. For both Israel and Palestine, Jerusalem is a national and religious landmark with profound significance. Therefore, the war over Jerusalem between Israel and Palestine has been prolonged and uncompromising. First, let's go back to 1947, when the United Nations proposed dividing the then Palestine into 3 entities: a Jewish state, an Arab state, and Jerusalem as a demilitarized city, with the status of a separate entity under UN administration. This plan was accepted by Jewish leaders but rejected by Arab leaders. After the British left the land and the First Arab-Israeli War ended, the State of Israel was established in 1948 and set its capital in West Jerusalem, while East Jerusalem was under Jordanian control at that time. However, after the Six-Day War in 1967, Israel also occupied East Jerusalem and annexed it into the Jewish state. In 1980, Israel declared Jerusalem as the eternal and indivisible capital of the country. The Palestinian Authority, of course, does not accept that. They also want to make East Jerusalem the capital of a future independent Palestinian state. The United Nations also does not recognize Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem and accuses Israel of violating, but the United States still recognizes Jerusalem as the indivisible capital of the State of Israel, despite dissenting reactions from many. As tumultuous as the history of the Holy Land of Jerusalem is, so is the fate of the Jewish people. Among the peoples of the world, few have suffered a fate as persecuted, despised, and miserable as the Jewish people. Historically, the Jews are known as a religious ethnic group originating from Israel. Although today, Jews live scattered in many different countries, only Israel is the world's only Jewish state. The majority of the population is Jewish, and the state religion is Judaism. After 21 centuries of exile and dispersion, it was not until 1948 that the Jews realized their dream of restoring their nation. In similar circumstances, many other ethnic groups and peoples in the Mesopotamia region have long been extinct or assimilate. But the Jews not only maintained their religion, culture, lineage, and identity, but also had outstanding influence in both natural and social sciences, contributing to the common progress of humanity. With a total of about 14.5 million people scattered in 73 countries around the world, including 6 million in Israel alone and 5.6 million in the United States, Jews make up a very small proportion, 0.2% of the world's total. However, among those who have received Nobel Prizes in the fields of physics, chemistry, economics, and medicine from the early 20th century, scientists of Jewish origin have won about 30% of the total awards. After thousands of years of wandering, when granted the right to establish a state by the United Nations in dogs eating stones, chickens eating gravel. From here, they had the opportunity to use their Jewish qualities to protect the Holy Land, beginning the process of being blessed by God. To transform this barren land into a promised land as in the Hebrew Bible, and make this land yield diamonds instead of gold. On this barren and water-scarce land, the Jews transformed and turned Israel into an oasis. S vegetable garden in winter with the world. With a small agricultural population, only 2.5% of the total nearly 8 million people, Israel not only achieves food, providing enough high-quality food for itself, but agriculture also brings in $3.5 billion annually for that. 1 hectare of agricultural land in Israel can grow up to 300 tons of cherry. Some Israeli cows produce up to 12 tons of milk per year, surpassing Dutch cows which yield only 9 tons per year. The Arava Valley, a rather unfamiliar name to tourists, is a source of great pride for all Israelis. Because here, a miracle of science and technology has enabled the desert to bloom. This was once the driest part of the Negev desert, with average annual rainfall of only 20 to 50 millimeters. Extremely low humidity and temperature fluctuations that cause even rocks to crack. The Arava is one of the most arid regions in the world, yet under the ingenious minds of Israelis, the Arava Valley has now become an agricultural paradise. In the Arava today, there is a project worthy of being recognized as a marvel created by humans in a giant reservoir named SISAF, with a capacity to store 150,000 cubic meters of. This reservoir is tasked with supplying clean water for domestic. The reservoir is designed to store water from drilled wells during periods of low demand. Its base is submerged 3.5 meters below the desert surface and divided into several layers. The construction process was not easy, requiring the excavation of 320,000 cubic. The wells had to be drilled to a depth of 1.5 kilometers to reach the groundwater. The reservoir's special design combats natural evaporation and collects water perfectly. Israel's natural conditions are particularly arid with very low and seasonally. It is no surprise that freshwater in Israel is considered white gold and is managed more strictly than anywhere else in the world. The government established a set of laws to measure water consumption, control groundwater extraction, and prevent water pollution. Israel's water treatment technology is among the most advanced in the world, with a recycling rate of up to. In major cities or densely populated desert areas, the water system is so perfect that almost not a single drop. 75% of Israel's agricultural water system uses drip irrigation technology. The remaining 25% uses pipe and sprinkler irrigation, with no. Israel is also the country that invented a computer-controlled drip irrigation system, combined with soil moisture monitoring devices, allowing precise calculation of water needs and maximum savings. When drilling nearly half a mile deep, Israelis discovered a warm, salty water source. A university professor pointed out this was a perfect source. A farm pumps 37-degree hot water into tanks to raise commercial fish. Water containing fish waste is used to irrigate fruit and vegetable crops. Thus, water is used for. Besides the economy, defense is also something Israel places great emphasis on. Israel is currently ranked among the top 10 countries with the greatest defense strength in the world. It has the lowest defense budget among these countries, and its annual defense budget is only 1/3 of the UK. Thus, in terms of defense spending efficiency, Israel could be number 1 in the world. In the war between Israel and Hamas, the world was amazed by the effectiveness of the Iron Dome missile defense system, which intercepted up to 90% of Hamas rockets fired at Israel, with nearly 7,000 Hamas rockets destroyed, covering 50% of Israel's territory and 80% of its population. Although right next to Gaza, Hamas rockets caused casualties to only 6 civilians, and almost all other economic activities of the country as well as the daily life of its people were largely unaffected and continue as normal. Although the number 1 ally of the US in the Middle East and the world, Israel still believes it must be self-reliant militarily, with its own defense policy and relying primarily on itself to maintain maximum independence. Israel has not signed any alliance. Even the US Patriot missile defense system, deployed to Israel during the Second Gulf War to intercept Iraqi Scud missiles, was seen as inadequate by Israel because the Patriot was almost powerless and too costly against Hamas's homemade rockets. The Israeli people have a very high spirit of defending their homeland, even young women. In recent years, Israel has seen a significant increase in women's participation in the military. Before becoming a famous Hollywood actress, Gal Gadot also served 2 years in the Israel Defense. In other countries, only men are required to perform military service, but in Israel, women also perform 2 years of military service. Israeli female soldiers are not limited to traditional roles in the military. They can serve in combat units, intelligence, technology, logistics, allowing them to demonstrate their skills and abilities in various fields. Besides military skills, Israeli female soldiers are often praised for their elegance and uniform. The charm of Israeli female soldiers lies in the unique blend of strength, beauty, and dedication. Taking difficulties as motivation, Israel is rising strongly in many fields, known worldwide as the Startup Nation. This name evokes an image of a young Israel, eager to rise. As a true promised land for startups, mainly in the high-tech field, Israel is on the right track with the Startup Nation brand because this image fits its current circumstances. As a small country with harsh natural conditions and no resources, if it wants to rise, Israel has no choice than to rely on intellectual capital. Invest in scientific research and focus on cutting-edge industries with unlimited profit potential. This policy has been implemented by Israel since its founding but has only been truly intensified from the late 1970s. The Israel Institute of Technology can be compared to the US's MIT. And Israel's Hebrew University, Tel Aviv University, and Ben-Gurion University are also ranked among the top 50 universities in the world. Most of the world's major tech software giants, such as Apple, Google, and Microsoft, have research and development branches for product development in YTC, delivers the intellectual resources and quality in this country. With a heaven-bestowed set of genius and wickedness, YT always has mountains of gold. If they have a good idea, they can completely persuade and attract capital from venture investment funds. If there's a labor shortage, we can hire from the domestic or international. Re-exhausted one. Also human beings, living on the same planet. Yet the Jewish people possess an intellect superior to other ethnic groups. Many of the world's top genius villains have origins from this habit. First is a face extremely familiar to many generations across the world. Famous for the image of his flowing white hair, his Gene Atsu, and his large, sad eyes. This is the brilliance. He was born on March 14, 1879, in Ulm, Württemberg, Germany, and died on April 18, 1955, in New Jersey, USA. He was a German physicist who successfully developed the theory of relativity and won a Nobel Prize in 1921 for his work explaining it. Einstein is widely recognized as the most influential physicist of the 20th century. In the final years of his life, he left Germany to protest Hitler's anti-Semitism and moved to the United States. He passed away on April 18, 1955, leaving behind a famous "Actually, I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." Next is another extremely famous name, Rosalind Franklin. She is the Jewish scientist who discovered the structure of DNA, also known as the molecule that contains the genetic code of all species. You are the one who created the double helix model of DNA, like a spiraling, twisting ladder. Rosalind's research paved the way for later scientists to delve deeper into the genetic code, and how parents pass on their individual characteristics to their children. Beyond the two names just mentioned, there are still many other great figures of Jewish origin such as Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, and Otto Frisch. The average IQ of other ethnic groups in the world is 100, but for Jewish people, it is 100. This raises a question. Why not generations of Jewish people possess such wisdom? Many studies suggest that Jewish mothers teach their children from pregnancy. They often listen to music, play instruments, sing, and do math until their children are old. They do that because they believe it will make the child intelligent later on. The mother chooses to eat almonds, the father drinks fish oil and eats fish, but avoids eating fish. All of that will help their child become wiser. From the moment the child was cradled in her arms, the mother cultivated a love for books by putting a few drops of honey on a book and letting the baby lick. Back then, in the naive mind of a child, books were something incredibly sweet. In 1950, the New York City Industrial Commission in the United States conducted a workforce survey and found a significant difference in factory employment rates between Italian women and Jewish women. Italian women often have to work and even make their children skip school to help them recover. Jewish mothers, on the other hand, are different. Even in difficult economic times, they stay at home to raise and educate their children, placing the entire responsibility of earning a living on their husbands. Thanks to the care and encouragement of his parents, the Thai student became well known in the school for his academic achievements and diligence, which was quite different from students. In 1954, the New York City school system identified 28 students with exceptionally high IQs of up to 170 points, 24 of whom were Jewish students. Moreover, these individuals also believe that grades are not as important as the method of learning, therefore, Jewish students are encouraged to ask their teachers a lot of questions. According to Israeli scientists, the resonance of music stimulates the brain, which is why there are so many Jewish geniuses. The Jewish education system is also quite unique. From grades 1 to 6, the subjects prioritized for children include business.
All Jewish children participate in sports such as archery, shooting, and running because they believe that archery and shooting train the brain to focus on decision-making and precision.
In high school, students will gradually reduce their study of science and instead learn how to create products, delving into practical, hands-on. Although some projects and assignments may seem ridiculous or useless, they all demand serious concentration, especially if they pertain to subjects like weaponry, medicine, engineering, or ideas that will be presented to scientific institutes. The business school is also a prioritized focus. In the final year of university, students will undertake several projects and gain practical experience. They will complete the program if their team of about 10 people.
To be surprised, this is the reality of that.
For Jews, learning is very important. Jewish society has long valued literacy, books, and educated people. The Jewish people were the first in the world, from 64 AD, for whom the church mandated that all men must know how to read, write, and calculate. In the 2nd century, it was mandatory for every man to have the duty of teaching his sons to read, write, and calculate. Thus, they had universalized education for males more than 10 centuries. Israel also leads the world with a population of 14-year-olds who read books, and ranks first in the number of books published. No successful Jewish person fails to seize the time to read, to study, and to accumulate a wealth of knowledge. Thus, since ancient times, the Jewish people have regarded knowledge as a special kind of asset, because from knowledge capital and wealth are generated, and it cannot be. This is the crucial factor that helps Jewish people achieve intelligence far surpassing the rest of the world. Small area and many regions with harsh climates often lead people to think Israel is a boring and if you think so too, you're completely mistaken. Although its area is only equivalent to Vietnam's Median province, Israel has up to 137 beaches. Besides the sea, this country also has many unique landmarks famous worldwide. Nonetheless, considered a sea, but actually the Dead Sea is a saltwater lake. The Dead Sea lies on the border region between the left. About 3 billion years ago, this entire area was a winding strait connecting to the Mediterranean Sea, creating layers of sedimentary salt. Later, due to geological collisions and uplifts, the strait transformed into a vast lake. This is one of the 4 saltiest bodies of water in the world. Thanks to the sedimentary salt layers from when it was a sea strait, the minerals in the Dead Sea differ significantly from the water of other oceans, with about 21 minerals, and 12 of these minerals are not found in other seas and oceans. These minerals are reported to have very positive effects on relaxation, are good for the skin, and can treat skin problems like eczema, ringworm, psoriasis, impetigo, acne, alleviate rheumatism, as well as metabolic disorders. Until the late 1960s, the Jordan River was still the only main water source flowing into the Dead Sea. Around it, there are also small springs that form pools and sinkholes along the shore. However, the water volume from here is insignificant. Today, the main water sources flowing into the Dead Sea come from underground springs and wastewater. Well, actually, initially this place was named. Later, tourists coming here began calling it the Dead Sea, because they noticed that this body of water showed no signs of life, whether plant or animal. Aquatic organisms like fish and simple plants simply cannot thrive in the extremely salty environment of the Dead Sea. Right in the middle of the Dead Sea is Salt Island, a small island entirely formed. Salt Island is essentially a small white piece of land surrounded by a stunning turquoise water area. Another feature that attracts tourists to the Dead Sea is the fact that one doesn't sink. At first glance, many might think that's just an exaggerated claim. However, in reality, this is a complete. Explaining this, experts say the reason is due to the high salinity of the Dead Sea, with salt and minerals most concentrated at the lake bottom. A salinity of about 31.5% makes the Dead Sea water 10 times saltier than the sand. Because a person's body weight is lighter than the density of the salt water, humans do not sink in the Dead Sea.
Another name always on the list of Israel's prides is the Holy Land, Jerusalem.
With an age of over 6,000 years, Jerusalem is the most important holy land for Jewish people because, according to this is where King David built the capital of the unified kingdom of Israel and King Solomon built the first temple. And according to Christian scripture, in Jerusalem, Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross. In Sunni Islamic tradition, this is the 3rd most important city after Mecca and Medina because, according to the Quran, Jerusalem is the stopping point of the Prophet Muhammad's mysterious night journey. Therefore, the city became a common holy land for all 3 of the above religions, preserving many religious relics and being an annual pilgrimage. The Old City area of Jerusalem was recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 1980. After Jerusalem, Israel's Old City of Acre was also recognized by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage Site in 2001. The Old City of Acre, also known as Akko, is a small city located in western Galilee in northern Israel on the Mediterranean coast. Before 165 BC, the Old City once belonged to Greece. By 395 AD, the old city of Acre fell into the hands of the Byzantines. Afterwards, Acre successively came under the rule of the Arabs, Ottomans, and was under British rule in 1947.
On May 17, 1948, Acre was officially returned to Israel, ending the prolonged war between Arabs and Israel.
With a long history, the old city of Acre also preserves many cultural and architectural features from various dynasties, most of which remain. Israel is not just a country, but also a symbol of perseverance, strength, and national pride. Despite facing many challenges, the Israeli people maintain their faith and spirit of unity. They have turned a barren land into a country the whole world must respect. With miraculous natural beauty and ancient stories of history and religion, Israel shines like a brilliant star in the Middle Eastern sky.
If the legend hooked you, subscribe and open the next case.